All the experts are sitting here telling you consistency is key, and I don't really agree with it. And if you're constantly burning yourself out and you can't stick to anything, just hear me out. I think you're doing consistency wrong. Last week, I made a video while whispering because I lost my voice, and I got it back. That video is me showing consistency. And today, I want to break down what I've learned about consistency because it's not really what you think it is. Here's what nobody tells you about consistency. You can be consistent every single day and still be moving in the wrong direction. You can be consistent and burn yourself out. And you can try to force yourself to be consistent using willpower alone and fail over and over and over again. We're told just be consistent like it's simple, as if it's another try harder kind of thing. You'll figure it out along the way. But that's not how it works. So what I want to talk about today is what I call smart consistency. And this isn't about forcing yourself through willpower or being perfect every day. It's more about being strategic, being sustainable, and working with your brain instead of against it. I'm breaking this down into 3 parts. The first one is effective consistency, making sure you're actually consistent with the right thing, because you can be consistent with the wrong thing and get nowhere. The second one is sustainable consistency, how you show up without burning yourself out, because what's the point if you can't maintain it? Third, adaptive consistency. And this is where I'm giving you 2 different frameworks depending on how your brain works. And here's the thing. Over the year, people keep telling me I have a ADHD tendency. And the more I work on myself and figure out how I actually function, the more I realize that, yeah, I can force things through willpower, but it makes me miserable. It's more of, why am I trying to fit myself in a box that I don't fit in when I could just make my life easier and more enjoyable? I've learned what actually works for me, and that's what I'm bringing to you today. Because there's not just one way to be consistent. There are different paths, and I'm giving you 2 possible routes today. Let me start you with a story. Imagine someone who is consistent every single day. They show up, they do the work, they never miss anything. That sounds great, right? Except for they are consistently binge eating junk food. They're consistently scrolling through social media for 3 hours. They're consistently doing the work that makes them feel productive, but doesn't actually get them anywhere. That's still consistency, but it's consistently moving them in the wrong direction. And here's what I mean about that. Everything you do consistently compounds over time, for better or worse. This is what people call compound effect. It's like, you know how with kids, it's if you're consistently letting them skip brushing their teeth, eventually you're dealing with cavities. Or if you're consistently reading to them every single night, eventually they will be ahead of their language development. Small action, big compound, same thing for us. If you save $5 a day in a year, you almost save $2,000, like roughly $1,800. Keep doing this for a decade and you will have a fortune, a little one, but you will have it. That's the compound effect working for you. But if you're eating unhealthy fast food and not using moderation, your health can decline. If you avoid difficult conversation every day, your relationship can suffer. If you consistently choose busy work over real work, years can go by and you're still in the same place. So consistency is only powerful if you're consistent with the right things. The first question we need to answer is, what are the right things for you? Here's how I figured out what to be consistent with. It's called reverse engineering. Step 1, get clear on your end goal. Not vague, but specific. Instead of, I want to be less stressed, it's more of, I want to feel present with my kids without constantly thinking about work. Instead of, I want to make more money, it's, I want to make an extra $1,000 a month so I can afford quality childcare and not feel guilty about it. Write it down. Get more specific. Step 2, work backwards. If that's where you want to be, start thinking of what happens right before that and what happens right before that. And keep repeating that step until you get to a step that is feasible for you or is easy to take action on. Let me give you an example. Let's say your goal is, I want an extra $1,000 a month from a side hustle. Now let's reverse engineer it. To make $1,000 a month, I'll need clients to pay me. To get clients, I need to offer a service and tell people about it. To offer a service, I need to decide what I'm good at and what people actually need. To tell people what I'm good at and what I actually need, I need to post about it and reach out to people and network. To see traction on it, I need to reach out to X amount of people, cold outreach, warm outreach. How do I get the list of people that I can reach out to? How can I do cold outreach? By finding a community. What language do I need to speak to attract the audience I need? Because obviously you can't be generic. You have to be specific to attract the correct clients. Now that you have the path and you can see which action actually moves you towards the goal. Step 3, using the Pareto principle. 80% of your results come from 20% of your effort. Most of what you do doesn't matter that much, but a few things matter a lot. It's like with parenting. 80% of your kid's behavior comes from 20% of what you do constantly. If you're consistent with a bedtime routine, they will sleep better. If you're consistent with how you handle tantrums, they learn emotional regulations. But all the little stuff doesn't move the needles nearly as much. Your job is to find those things and focus on them. Going back to the side business example, does spending 3 weeks designing the perfect logo move you towards the $1,000 a month? No. Does posting about your service and reaching out to potential clients and deciding you're going to reach out to 20 people a day, is that going to move you forward? Yeah. That's your 20%. That's where you need to be consistent. Let me give you another example. Let's say your goal is, I want to feel healthier and have more energy so I can keep up with my kids. Let's work backwards on that one. To have more energy, I'll need to sleep better and movements or have more movements. To sleep better, I need consistent bedtime and less screen time before bed. To move more, I need to find 20 to 30 minutes. Now, apply the 80-20 rules. What's going to give you the most results? A complicated workout plan you'll quit in 2 weeks? No. Or a daily 20-minute walk and going to bed at the same time every day. Yeah, that's your 20%. The mistake most people make is trying to be consistent with everything. You're going to burn yourself out. You need to be consistent with a few things that actually matter. So quick recap. Pillar 1, effective consistency. Get specific about your goal. Reverse engineer your path. Find your 20%. The few action that gives you the 80% of the results. Be consistent with those things. Now let's move to pillar number 2. Now you know what to be consistent with, but here's the next problem. How do you actually stay consistent without burning yourself out? Because here's what usually happens. You start strong, you're motivated, you're doing things every day, and then life happens. Your kids get sick, you get sick, you're exhausted, you have a rough week, and suddenly you broke your streak and you feel like a failure. This is where most people quit. So let's talk about sustainable consistency. First, we need to redefine what consistency actually means. Consistency is not about being perfect. It's not about giving 100% every single day. It's about showing up. Some days you will show up at 100%. Some day you will show up at 40%. Some day you will show up and whisper through a whole video because you lost your voice. If you didn't see last week's video, that was me. But that is still showing up. Here's what I mean. With my kids, some days I'm a mom who is doing craft and reading books and being fully present. And some days I'm a mom who's putting on Bluey so I can sit on the couch for 20 minutes because I'm exhausted, I'm tired. But I'm still showing up as their mom. I didn't quit being a parent because I wasn't perfect for that one day. That's the difference between people who stay consistent and people who quit. The people who quit thinks consistency means perfection. And the people who stay know that 40% is better than 0%. Let me give you another example. Let's say you're trying to be consistent with exercise. Perfect scenario. You work for an hour, you're energized, and you feel great. Reality, some days you're going to be exhausted. You barely have 15 minutes. You're not feeling it. The old mindset will say, if I can't do a full workout, there's no point. I'm going to just skip it today. The new mindset says, I'm going to do 15 minutes, even if it's stretching, because showing up is what matters. That is sustainable consistency. You're not demanding perfection from yourself. You're refusing to quit. Something I wish someone would have told me years ago and would have saved me so much issues is your problem isn't time, it's energy. You probably have pockets of time throughout your day, but you don't have the energy to use them well. Why? Because you're running on empty. This is especially true for moms. You can have your kids down for a nap and have 2 hours of time. But if you're exhausted, you're not getting anything meaningful done. You can't manage your time better if you have no energy left. So sustainable consistency requires managing your energy. Here's what that means. Physical energy. Are you sleeping enough? Are you eating in a way that gives you energy, or does it drain it? Are you moving your body? Because I can tell you right now, when I'm not sleeping well because my toddler is going through a phase, my ability to show up consistently drops. It's not a willpower problem, it's an energy problem. The mental energy. Are you taking breaks? Are you doing things that require deep focus when you're mentally sharp? Or are you trying to do hard work when you're already completely done and fried? Don't try to make important business decision at 8 p.m. at night after bedtime when your brain is mush. Sleep on it. Do that in the morning when you actually have the mental energy for it. Emotional energy. What's draining you emotionally? Toxic relationship, a constant comparison on social media, guilt about not being good enough, because emotional drainage can also affect everything else. Here's what I started doing. I started paying attention to what gives me energy and what drains it. And I started protecting my energy, like if it was a resource, because it is. If I know mornings are when I have the most mental energy, that's when I work on my business. Not at night when I'm tired. If I know scrolling social media drains me emotionally, I limit it. If I know I need movement for physical energy, I make that a priority, even if it's just a 15-minute dance off with the kids. It's more of, once you realize energy is the real currency, not time, everything shifts. Here's another thing about sustainable consistency. Your life has seasons, and what consistency looks like changes depending on the season you're in. When my kids were newborn, my version of consistency meant showing up, keeping everything and everyone alive and fed. That's it. Now that toddlers, I have a significant more capacity. So my consistency looks different. I can work on my business, I can exercise, I can do more. In a few years, when they're in school, my capacity will change again. The mistake people make is comparing their consistency to someone in a completely different season. You're trying to match the productivity of someone who doesn't have kids, or whose kids are older, or who have more help. So realize that's not fair to yourself. Here's what I mean. If you're in a season where you have a newborn and you're barely sleeping, your goal might just be do one thing for the business this week or for yourself. That's your consistent action. Just one thing. If you're in a season where your kids are in school and you have more time, your consistent action might be work on the business for 2 hours every morning. Both are consistent. They're just adjusted to your season. So ask yourself, what season am I in right now? And what does realistic consistent looks like for this season? Not some imaginary season when I have unlimited time and unlimited energy. So the recap for pillar 2, sustainable consistency, redefine consistency as showing up, not perfection. Manage your energy, not your time, and adapt to your current season of life. So let's move to number 3, and this is where I start giving you the frameworks. All right, so now you know what to be consistent with and how to show up sustainably. But not everyone's brains works the same way. And what works for one person might make another person absolutely miserable. So I'm giving you 2 frameworks, and you need to figure out which one fits your brain. Or maybe you use both depending on what you're working on. So let's break it down. Framework number 1. So the commitment-based approach is pretty straightforward. You decide what you want to do, you commit to it, and you remove the friction so it's easier to follow through. This works for people who can make plans and stick to it. Their brain doesn't need constant novelty. They can do the same thing over and over if they know it's going to move them towards their goal. Here's how it works. Step 1, remove friction. Make it as easy as possible to do the thing you need to do. The more steps between you and the action, the less likely are for you to do it. It's like with the kids, getting them ready in the morning. If their clothes are laid out the night before, shoes are by the door, backpack is packed, there's less friction. They're more likely to get ready without a fight. Same with you. If you want to work out in the morning, lay out your workout clothes the night before. If you want to work on the business, have your workspace set up and ready to go. Remove the decision making, remove the extra steps. Step 2, set your schedule and stick to it. Pick a specific time for your consistent action. Not I'll do it when I have the time, because you won't. But every morning at 6 a.m. before the kids wake up, or every Tuesday and Thursday during nap time. Your brain stops questioning it and it just does it because that's what you do at that time. Track it. There's something powerful about seeing your streak, whether it's checking off a calendar, using a habit tracker, or just marking it in the planner. The visual reminder reinforces the habit. This approach is clean, it's simple, it works really well for certain people and certain tasks. But if you're sitting here thinking, I've tried this and I keep failing, you're not broken. You might just be using the wrong framework for your brain. So let's talk about framework 2, the interest-based framework. This is for those of us who need things to be more engaging. The truth is, I'm speaking from experience here because I know how my brain works. The interest-based brain is not driven by importance or priority. It's driven by interest and novelty. You can know something is important, you want to do it, but it's boring, or your brain literally does not cooperate. It's not about the willpower, it's about brain chemistry. So trying to force consistency through a willpower alone, you're going to be exhausted and you're going to fail over and over again. So the solution is to make it interesting. Work with your brain, not against it. And this is how, using strategy number 1, dopamine hacks. Your brain runs on dopamine. Dopamine is what makes you feel motivated and engaged. And if your brain tends to need more stimulation, you need artificial add dopamines on task. Here are a few ways to do that. Gamification. Turn it into a game. Like with my kids, if I need them to clean up their toys and I just say, go clean up, it's not going to happen. I'm going to get upset. There's going to be yelling. But if I say, let's see how fast you can pick up all the blocks, I'm timing you, suddenly it's a challenge. It's engaging and it's fun. If you need to clean your house, set a timer for 15 minutes and see how much you get done. Try to beat your last score. Suddenly, it's not a chore, it's a challenge, it's a game. It is fun, it is interesting. Another strategy is temptation bundling. Pair a task you need to do with something you want to do. Like only listen to your favorite podcast while you're doing laundry. Only watch that show while you're on the treadmill. Now your brain has a reason to want to do the task. Then we have body doubling. Work on a task in presence of someone else. This can be a person or a virtual. Their presence provides external accountability and helps your brain focus. An example, you need to work on your business, but you keep getting distracted. You schedule a video call with a friend who's always working on something. You both start working quietly together. The presence of someone else just working there helps you stay on task. Strategy number 2, embrace flexibility and novelty. The interest-based brain craves novelty. A rigid, unchanged routine can feel almost like a prison. So instead of fighting with your brain, build flexibility into your system, such as the menu approach. Instead of, I must do this exact thing every single day, create a menu option. An example, when I'm feeding my kids, if I only offer them one thing and they're not feeling it, they're not eating for the day, and we start having issues because I internally feel like I'm a bad mom, or I'm worried that they're not eating or getting nutrition. But if I give them options, do you want eggs or oatmeal today for breakfast? They feel more in control and they're more likely to eat because it was their choice and it's something different, which then allows them to most likely eat the food. Same with you. Let's say your goal is to move your body for 30 minutes a day. Instead of, I have to go to the gym every day, which will get boring, create a movement menu. Monday, walk outside. Tuesday, dance video in the living room. Wednesday, ride a bike. Thursday, yoga. Friday, swimming. Choose whatever sounds interesting for you. Or even make a little wheel of different movement and spin it and see where it lands. Make it fun while also creating a menu for you. You're still consistency with a goal, movement, but you're giving your brain different choices that you need. Or you can do theme days. Instead of a rigid schedule, use a theme day, like Money Mondays. Anything related to finance will be done on Monday. Tidy Tuesday is where you clean and organize everything in your home or office. Work Wednesday, focus on your business only. A whole day of it. Thinking Thursday, plan and reflect on your task. Or Free Friday, flexible, whatever you need to handle that week. Or whatever you missed out in that week that can help you get things done. This gives you structure without feeling suffocated. You know what type of work you're doing, but you have the freedom within the theme. Strategy 3, externalize everything with an interest-based brain. Working memory can be an issue. Relying on your brain to remember to be consistent is setting yourself up for failure. You need to externalize. Visual cues, out of sight, out of mind. So make things visible. It's like with my toddlers. If I want them to remember to put their shoes away, I can't just tell them. I have a shoe rack right by the front door, which visually reminds them every single time they come into the house. Same with you. If you want to drink more water, put a bottle on your desk where you can see it. If you want to take the vitamins, put them next to your toothbrush. If you want to work on a project, leave the materials out in plain sight. Alarm and timers. Use technology. Set alarms for when you start a task, but also set a timer when you need to end a task. Like set an alarm at 7 p.m. that says wind down routine. Set a timer for 25 minutes where you start working. The external cue does the reminding for you. The satisfaction of checking something off a list gives your brain a small dopamine hit. Even if you do these things every day, the act of checking them off reinforces the habit and gives you that brain reward. The container method. Instead of keeping track of multiple things, use containers to create an automatic system. An example, meal prep on Sunday and put the meals in containers. Now you don't have to decide or remember what to eat. The container does it for you. Or keep a work bag that has everything you need for your side business. When it's time to work, grab the bag. You don't have to gather materials or decide what to do. It's already done. So those are the 2 frameworks. Commitment based, willpower driven, stick to the plan, work great if your brain cooperates with that approach. Interest-based, novelty driven is a flexibility, dopamine hacks, and works great if you need things to stay engaging. You might even use both depending on your situation. Maybe some areas of your life work well with commitment based. Like I can be very committed based on making sure my kids have consistent bedtime. I do it because it has to happen. But other areas need interest-based approach, like exercise or creative work. If I try to force those just with willpower, I will burn out. Figure out what works for your brain, not what you think you should do, what actually works. So now that you know all three parts, pillar number one, effective consistency. To be consistent with the right thing, use reverse engineering and the 80-20 rule to find them. Pillar number two, sustainable consistency. Show up even when it's not perfect. Manage your energy. Adapt to the season of life. Pillar number three, adaptive consistency. Choose the framework that matches your brain, commitment-based or interest-based. So here's what I want you to try this week. Step number one, pick one goal, just one, write it down. Step two, reverse engineer it. What are the 2 or 3 actions that would move you closest to that goal? Step three, decide which framework you're going to use, whether it's the commitment-based or the interest-based. Step four, if you're commitment-based, remove the friction. Set your schedule and track it. If it's interest-based, pick one dopamine hack. Create a menu or theme structure. Externalize with visual cues or alarms. Step five, show up this week. Even if it's messy, even if it's 40%, just show up. That is it. That's smart consistency. It's not about forcing yourself. It's not about being perfect. It's about being strategic, being sustainable, and working with your brain instead of trying to fit into a box that you do not fit in. And I understand. I'm not going to tell you that this is easy. Consistency is hard no matter which framework you use. But it's a lot easier when you're consistent with the right thing, when you're not burning yourself out, and when you're using a method that actually works for your brain. If you're watching this and thinking, okay, I get it, but I still need help figuring out my specific situation, that's exactly why I build a free community in school. Because everyone's situation is different. Your goals are different. Your brain is different. Your season of life is different. In the community that I'm building, we help each other figure out what smart consistency looks like for you in your life. We share what works. We support each other when it gets hard. We celebrate the wins, even if it's a messy 40% win. The link is in the description below. Let me know if this video is helpful for you. What else would you like to learn? What framework did you use? I'll see you in the next video.